Hello everybody, Jacob here, and I've made no secret about my love for Paradox Grand Strategy games on this channel. Yes, Paradox Grand Strategy games are amazing. If you want to mess around with menus, they've got you covered for almost every time period, except for modern day and post-apocalyptic. I mean, they have a post-apocalyptic game, but it's not a grand strategy game. So, get on that, Paradox. I want to inject that game straight into my veins, okay? With all of these different grand strategy games, you may be saying, Jacob, what is the empirically best Paradox Grand Strategy game? The Paradox Grand Strategy game that everybody should play. The S tier one. Well, the answer? It may shock you. And I've got it right here. Okay, so let's see which one's the best. Can we get a little fanfare? I mean, this is really important. Okay. The best Paradox Grand Strategy game is La La Land. I'm kidding, it's Stellaris. It's Stellaris. But you know what I'm not kidding about? The hot references. This channel, we've got all the best 3-year-old references, right, ready and fresh for all of that.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
Remember when that happened? There wasn't a global pandemic. Amazing. Anyways, you may be saying, What? Stellaris? Why is that one the best? Well, I'm a slut for YouTube views, so I'll probably title this video Paradox's Most Underrated Grand Strategy Game, when in reality that title is awarded to Imperator Rome, which is a good game, and I will die on that hill in the comment section below. But if you want to find out why Stellaris is my favorite Paradox Grand Strategy game, well, let's go over to the animation bubble to find out. Before I got into Paradox games, I was crushing pussy on the reg. Also, I was playing the Civilization series. The Civ series, for those who don't know, is like an extremely dumbed down Paradox game. You pick a civilization, the game puts you on a random map, then you work from the ancient era to the space era, competing against other civilizations to win a variety of different victory conditions. The Civilization series is a 4X strategy game. The 4 X's stand for exploration, expansion, exploitation, and extermination. You explore a map, expand your empire, exploit resources, and exterminate your enemies. Now, most Paradox Grand Strategy games are not really traditional 4X games, with the exception of Stellaris. Stellaris is a space game where you control a spacefaring civilization and you try to conquer the galaxy. It's also the most traditional 4X strategy game that Paradox has made. Stellaris is a great transition from the simpler games like Civilization to complex games like EU4 or Vicky 2, because it takes the simple, basic things that you know and it adds a whole bunch of new mechanics. Because of this 4X gameplay style, the early game in Stellaris is amazing. Not to be a games journalist here, but it really makes you feel like you're a civilization taking its first baby steps into the infinite vastness of space. From the anomalies to the decoding of other alien civilizations, Stellaris just has a fantastic early game that over time morphs from a 4X game into a more traditional Paradox Grand Strategy game. It also makes you feel like Spider-Man in space, with the style and swagger of a black teen.
First Dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
So Stellaris will always hold a special place in my heart because it was the first Paradox Grand Strategy game that I ever played. But it also makes me irrationally furious because, it's a gateway drug and now I'm hooked on the grand strategy equivalent of heroin. But that's my terrible life decision. Why don't I explain to you guys why Stellaris is the best Paradox game for role-playing purposes in the animation bubble? Come on, let's go! Stellaris is one of the best strategy games for role-playing I've ever played, maybe only being topped by Crusader Kings, and I'm still not 100% on that. Stellaris lets you fine-tune your empire to your heart's content using an ultra-robust character creator. You want to create a kingdom of racist, ultra-capitalist frog people? You can do that. What about rocks who are spiritual communists? Boom, that's possible too. How about a Mega McDonald's? That's possible also. What about genocidal robots that want to exterminate all sentient life in the galaxy? Why don't you slow your roll there, you little psychopath? But of course it's possible. It's definitely possible. No, I'm not bullshitting when I say the best part of Stellaris is creating unique and wonderful empires using the character creator. Because of the character creator, you have so many possible playthroughs that each can be unique. In addition to this, the game gives you a ton of flexibility during the actual gameplay. You can pass different wacky laws, become cyborgs, become the Senate.
I love democracy. I love the Republic.
Enter the collective consciousness of the universe, invade your enemies, sell them as slaves, become a multi-species, peace-loving republic. Basically, anything you've ever seen in a sci-fi original series, you can definitely do in Stellaris. Here, I'll give you a little example. Over the weekend, I wanted to try to play as a tall, peaceful empire. So, I created the Republic of Shroomy, led by a mushroom species called toads, a happy little community, you know? My empire would be a bastion of democracy and freedom, welcoming all species from across the galaxy. A democratic hope for the people. Then RNGesus fucked me and I spawned next to a fanatic purifier hive mind who invaded my beacon of democratic freedom and ate my mushroom people like they were Mario. But hey, you know, that's Stellaris. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset at all. I'm not upset that I lost my progress. Why would I be upset? It's just a game. It's fine. It's fine. The point is, you can do so much cool stuff in Stellaris. So long as you have the necessary DLC. That's definitely a huge part of what you can and can't do. So, am I a delusional idiot? Yes, but not for this reason. You see, Stellaris definitely does have its flaws, most of which relate to DLC. That's a key factor in a lot of Paradox games. But it's still, in my opinion, super underappreciated by the overall community. Kind of like my YouTube channel. This was all a self-promotion plug. Yes, if you made it this far into the video, you should definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's good. I make 2 videos a month, or at least I try to, and you get content like this. Okay, let's explain the flaws of Stellaris a little more in the animation bubble. Sorry for that random self-promotion ad. Stellaris, like every game, has its flaws. Most of Stellaris' flaws are because of the DLC, like every other Paradox game. The base game of Stellaris is kinda bare bones, with no machine empires or megacorps or unique origins, and the game's role-playing doesn't really come into its full potential unless you buy the DLC. Also, the game is extremely lacking when it comes to diplomacy. It's not as deep as something like EU4 or HOI4, but they're working on it. With Federations adding the Galactic Community, it really helps. Unfortunately, the Galactic Community and Federations is a $20 DLC, and not everybody was lucky enough to become a GameStop millionaire. Last but not least, the game starts to chug like a frat boy on a dare towards the end game. But even all of its flaws, it's still a really good game that doesn't get nearly enough love from the Paradox community. All the big mod YouTubers sleep on it, and not nearly enough Stellaris memes are made. So, while it may not be the most underrated Paradox game, Imperator Rome. Sorry, something was caught in my throat there. It's definitely still getting slept on by the overall community, and you should play it. So, that's why you should buy Stellaris. It's a great game, it's super replayable, and it has a ton of content, if you have the DLC. So, if you're a hedge fund billionaire who's lost everything and is down to their last couple of $100s, you should buy Stellaris and their DLC. Or if you're a Reddit millionaire, you should buy Stellaris and the DLC. Everyone else, you should buy Stellaris and the DLC, but wait for a sale on Steam. I mean, come on, that's a lot of money. It's $20 each. I mean, come on, right? Again, getting in timely references going on. And for everybody else, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel because I make 2 videos a month, or at least I try to make 2 videos a month, but I'm also a full-time college student, so that can vary a little bit. But you should subscribe and hit the bell for more content like this, and tell all your friends about it, because it's good, I think. I at least try to make it good. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Tell me down below, what's your favorite Paradox game? Which one do you think is the most underrated? Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you think about Imperator Rome? I know that wasn't mentioned until the start, but whatever, it came full circle, it came full loop, it's okay. I'm rambling, we should end this. I hope you enjoyed. I've been Jacob.